Okay, now let's try to set up the ragdoll and the physics. So now if I press play, you see if I fire it doesn't do anything, it doesn't interact. So what we can do is to set up the ragdoll. So let's go to the enemy group. Let's add a ragdoll module. The ragdoll also create the capsule collision. So to use the proper ragdoll, you need to call in Blueprint or C++ the function to initialize the ragdoll. If you don't do anything, it just create the capsule for you. Let's set the behavior order to 2. Let's compile it. Let's also set up the ragdoll on the weapon. Let's add a ragdoll. Ragdoll behavior. Let's the order 2. Compile and save. And now let's press play. And now you see the projectile interact with the agent capsule. Okay, so now let's add more logic. So let's add like a health power system on the agents, in a way that every time we hit the agent, it reduces the health of the agent, and then when it reach 0, basically just kill the agent and trigger the ragdoll. So, okay, so let's go to the enemy. So we need to first some metadata that will store our health value for each agent. So let's create an add metadata behavior. Let's set the behavior order to 3 because it's the fourth behavior. And let's call our metadata health. Then this is going to be a double metadata, value so 1. And then remember to turn on the agent creation only. This means that this metadata is set only at the creation of the agent and then is not updated at every tick anymore. So now we need to handle the collision. So let's create the hit event. Now we need to make sure that we are colliding with a projectile. So do a cast to a first person projectile there. And then let's break the hit. So from the hit we can access the agent ID that this projectile is colliding and that the agent that triggered this event. And the ID is stored here inside the hit item event. So if I print this guy here, compile and save, and let's test. So if I go here, you see the agent ID is the 2, this one is the 8, 6, and so on. So now we know which agent is hitting it. So let's go back. Now we can manipulate the health metadata. So first we need to access the agent. So I use the get agents by group ID. So the group ID is here from the hit item. And now we can, for example, get the float metadata because it's a double metadata, but here in Unreal you can access the get float metadata function. This one will be my health. Let's put the health. Sorry, let's print the health here. Okay, let's save, compile, save here. So all the agents are at 1. Now we want to decrease this value when we hit the capsule. So what we can do is to decrease this one by, I don't know, 0.3, something like that. And then we can set this metadata. Something like this, like this, like this. So let's compile and save. So start 1, 0, 7, 4, 1, and go. Okay. So now we need to, obviously, when we are at 0, we want to trigger the Ragdoll. So how we can do that? Just simple. Just we need to access the agents collision component. Agents collision component. And now from here we can initialize the Ragdoll. Sorry, we need to check if this one is going to be 0. So if this one is minor than 0, if or minus, here we install the Ragdoll. Let's remove the self collision. We need the agent ID. So let's put our root node here. Okay, and then we need initialize the physics. Set Ragdoll simulate physics. Okay, here, and let's connect the group ID here as well. So let's play ourselves. So you can obviously we need to apply some impulse there, so we can agent Ragdoll physics add impulse to Ragdoll at location. Okay, and we can let's add the location, that is the hit location, impact point, location, and then we can add the impulse. We can use the normal. We need to multiply this one for a higher value, probably 10,000, something like that. Okay, and then let's put impulse and then connect the group ID, this guy here, compile, save, and let's have a look. Probably we need to increase more. Yeah, let's increase to 20. So now we need to trigger also the weapon to go in a Ragdoll state. Otherwise, you see that basically the Ragdoll remain constrained to the end. That is not good. So let's go to the anim group. So one thing is that we need to access the weapon actor. So let's create a variable here. Let's put weapon actor. This is going to be a weapon group, object reference. Okay, editable. So we need to set first this variable, and we can do that in the liver blueprint. So here we can do basically let's cast to enemy in group, and then set weapon actor. Let's compile it. Oh, sorry, we don't need to cast this one. Okay, compile and save. So now we can access that one here. So the child we will have exactly the same ID. So we can use exactly the same workflow here. We need to access the get actor here. Then we need to do the get component by class as well. This one will be our agent collision component. And then we can trigger the Ragdoll, init Ragdoll. And the collision here, let's connect the group ID here, and then we can set Ragdoll simulate physics to activate the physics simulation on the weapon as well. Let's put this one like this, and should be fine. So let's save this one, save this one. And now it's working. As you can see, the weapon is detached from the agent. Cool. Now, if you want, we can do another things. We can use, for example, the health value to drive a shader. This way we know that we are hitting when I hit it is almost net. So we can go on the enemy here at sorry, not here, on the enemy group. We can promote the health metadata to a shader value, health, and then we can save this one, go here, and then let's go inside the mannequin materials, and is the body here. Body color, so I want constant vector 3. This is going to be my red. Okay, now let's use the particle color, because we are passing a metadata to the material, so we can access the particle color, the first 4 floats, and instead if you are passing more metadata, you need to use the dynamic property nodes. So now we can use a linear interpolation. LARP, linear interpolate. So we are passing just a single float, so it's going to be on the red, and So we want, when the health is 1, we want the white. Otherwise, when it's go to 0, we want the red. And this one we can pass to the connect here and connect here. So just save. Okay, last step, we need to modify a bit the hit event graph here. So one thing is to don't compute all this stuff when we have the health already at 0. So if the health is higher than 0, then do all this stuff. Okay, now we need to tell manually to agent group to send the metadata to the material, and we can do that with the updates dynamic shared dynamic data. So we need to update one when we are when after we set the health data. Okay, so let's put this one and here. Okay, let's save this one. Let's try. And now it's working fine. As you can see, we have a visual reference of the health of each agent.